Ruby Rose is a musician and an OnlyFans creator who recently went absolutely viral on Twitter for allegedly meeting up with her #1 fan. I ran into my #1 spender on OnlyFans. There's a picture of them together. There's a picture of his profile in which he has supposedly spent $162,000, and this tweet got an unbelievable 134 million views, with the only slight caveat to this being it was all entirely fake. Now, since this is probably the first that you've heard of Ruby Rose, I'll just introduce her super fast. She's a rapper, and that's primarily what she does. But because being a musician is pretty much unprofitable now, unless you're one of the really big ones, she supplements her income with OnlyFans. And because there's so much money to be made on OnlyFans, you can look, and OnlyFans marketing has absolutely blown up in the last few years as OnlyFans has blown up. And as you can see, everyone everywhere is advertising their OnlyFans marketing services, promising to make you go viral and get a ton of money and subscribers. And one of these companies created the great idea of taking these fake pictures and trying to make this viral post. So to get an idea of how this post happened, let's run through a quick timeline. So on December 1st of 2023, Ruby Rose posted this: I ran into my #1 spender on OnlyFans. There's a picture of him, and it is someone who you could believe spent this amount of money on OnlyFans. There's her. And then here is her showing his profile in which he has allegedly spent $162,000. Now this post, as you can see, got 135 million views, and basically everyone in the comments is absolutely just lambasting this man, making fun of him, calling him, you know, loser, so many, so on and so forth. You get the idea. People are in general just kind of mocking this man for the fact that he has spent almost $163,000 on this OnlyFans. She then follows this post up just a couple days later on December 5th with this one. It says, tat on my face so that I know it's real, which is just, I don't know what that means, but she goes through and shows all of these text messages that allegedly he has sent to her, and it just keeps going and going and going, and you can read these. They are pretty unhinged, and now that we know it's fake, there's not really a point in reading them. But he promises to send her like 10K in Bitcoin and so on and so forth, and he says he's getting a tattoo, and finally he sends all these pictures of the tattoo, and specifically he sends this video of the Ruby Rose tattoo that says #1 spender on her, and this tattoo is actually real. Now, with this post getting 86.4 million views between the first one, which got 135, and this one, that's around 210 million views that she's gotten. And in addition to that, she has also gotten tens of millions of views in coverage on this via YouTube video. Cinnamon Toast Kin, Moist Critical talked about it, so on and so forth. All these people are talking about this situation, making fun of him, and they are getting hundreds of thousands or sometimes even millions upon millions of views, essentially consistently making fun of him. And so everybody was talking about this, and it was everywhere on the internet, and basically everyone was fooled in believing this was real until yesterday, when this interview with Adam from the podcast No Jumper popped off. And he talks about, this is the guy, supposedly his name is Brandon, but that's not actually his name in real life, and they're talking about the situation. Let me just make sure I'm not on, I was on 2x speed, because I watch everything on 2x speed, but this is what he had to say.
No, but I didn't purchase none of her OnlyFans content.
Ruby Rose.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was all a hoax?
I got in the situation where I just went and took a picture with Ruby Rose, right? Like,
okay.
I got paid for it. I didn't know exactly what it was for. You know, I think it was like a promo thing or something or whatever the fuck it was, you know? And I met up with her. I take this picture. Next day, I'm like the fucking OnlyFans top spender. I knew there was like some kind of thing where there was like, had to do with the OnlyFans top spender shit, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
And that was a pretty big bombshell, because this situation had pretty much everyone on the internet, myself included, absolutely fooled. Because the thought of a rich, lonely person spending tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars on OnlyFans doesn't seem that difficult to conceive of, so I kind of saw this and assumed it was the case. But as with everything, there is a bit of a dark side slash downside to this, and that comes in the form of when he was continued to talk just a few minutes later in the interview.
For it. And you're saying that they didn't tell you beforehand that this was going to be the storyline?
Well, I knew there was this OnlyFans and like the person's the top spender, but I didn't know the story was going to come out to be bigger than what the story is now, you know, like where I'm like the obsessive guy who's in love with her and all
so the
shit.
So that's basically what he was saying, is that he knew that there was some kind of a story where he was supposed to be like an OnlyFans fan of Ruby Rose, and it was essentially a modeling gig where he would take a picture with her. That picture would be used for marketing and advertising purposes such as this, but he didn't realize that it would blow up in the way that it did and concoct the story around him that it did, where he's like some sort of #1 fan, a stalker, maybe she's in danger, he's some sort of rich reclusive millionaire that's blowing all of this money on all of these OnlyFans artists and depicting him as kind of the latest thing to mock on the internet. He didn't know that would happen. And so it is understandable that he might be a little bit frustrated that now essentially everyone that sees him in public might recognize him as the guy that was Ruby Rose's #1 fan. And this has far fewer views, 72,000 in the last 23 hours. So you can imagine that not as many people heard about the original situation will find out that that original situation was fake. And honestly, that doesn't entirely sit right with me. But it does beg the question, what is the point of all of this? And very simply, the point is money. See, more people than ever have now heard of Ruby Rose, and every single one of those people that's heard of her has heard of her in the context of her having an OnlyFans. So, it begs the question, did this work? And it kind of seems like maybe a little bit it did. This is the search term data for Ruby Rose over the past 30 days. There was a little spike here, but that was the day that she released the tweet, and this was the day that it went viral. Absolutely huge blow up. And then it starts to go down a little bit, and then this is the day she releases the follow-up talking about all the fake messages, him offering to send her like $10,000 in Bitcoin, getting the tattoo. So you can see 2 huge spikes, and if we jump this out to, let's just say 5 years, even though I don't think she's been around for that long, you get the idea. This is the most relevant she has ever been. And not only is this the most relevant she's ever been as a person, but it's the most relevant that her OnlyFans has ever been in terms of Google search term data. Basically, nobody was talking about or interested in it, and even on some of these days, it has a 0. Nobody searched for it until that blow up. The day after the blow up, it hits the biggest day ever for the search Ruby Rose OnlyFans, and then it goes down, and then this is the day that she posted the follow-up. Once again, tons of people searching for Ruby Rose OnlyFans, and then if we back this up to 5 years again, just to keep the data consistent, we can see a blow up here, and I think that's where she released a song that went pretty viral, but you get the idea. This is the most viral she and her OnlyFans has ever been. So yeah, I would say that it was a very successful marketing campaign. So don't forget, nothing online is ever real. Thanks for watching.